Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99 back with another video. Just want to do my real quick discussion video on Erislandy Lara versus Ramon Alvarez. Pretty much as you figured, Erislandy Lara, he made easy work of Ramon Alvarez. As everybody know, that's the brother of Canelo Alvarez. And Lara, he was out for a little bit of revenge, some semi-revenge against Ramon Alvarez, man. And he just destroyed him in like 2 rounds, man. I mean, right from the first round, I already knew that somebody like Lara, he can switch it up depending on the opponent. Most of the time, he can box on the outside, which he does against more high caliber opponents, which can sometimes, leave it hard for judges to score. They don't really look at the sweet science sometimes, whenever, you're moving around a lot and you're, trying to box from the outside and be safe. But against a guy like, I remember a few years back, who was it, Yuri Foreman, and of course a guy like Ramon Alvarez, Erislandy Lara, he looks good. He's right there in the pocket. He's keeping that range at a good, he's keeping a good distance. He's taking those little steps, just to stay out of punching range. But most of this fight, he didn't really even have to worry about that. He was just firing off the left hand at Ramon Alvarez. He just looked lethargic, man. He really didn't look like he was in this fight. As far as his stance, his hands, they almost looked like they were at his sides at times. Every time he would get hit with the shot, he just looked like he's about to fall apart. Erislandy Lara was just letting the left hand go like crazy in this fight, just hitting him between the guard, hitting him right in the chest, right up the middle with double left hands. And that second round was pretty much it. He fired off like he clipped Ramon over the top with the right hand, and he hit him with another left hand, and he went reeling into the ropes, and he just fired off another combination, and he was just hanging out of the ropes. Referee gave him a standing count, and then Lara just jumped on him and destroyed him. So yeah, man, Lara, he's a WBA champion once again. This was a pretty easy fight for him to become a champion again. But as far as what Lara can do against some of these top caliber fighters again, man, it's in question. His last fight against unified champion Jarrett Hurd, it was a tough, grueling battle for him, man. I mean, there was some back and forth moments, and there was a lot of people who could have felt Lara could have won the fight, but I feel like Hurd took something out of Lara in that fight, who was really pushing him and pressing him and really making him fight. Whereas in this fight, it was still another fight where Lara is a step above these guys like Ramon Alvarez, but he's still a step below these guys like, the Charlos and the Hurds, So right now, I don't really know what tip-top shape Lara is in. He's going to need another caliber of opponent to prove to me that he's ready to, get a rematch with somebody like Hurd, or even get in there with somebody like Tony Harrison or like Jaime Munguia, I wonder if he can withstand that type of, youthful strength, that youth strength, But, none of those names are really on his list, whenever the name was, who he wanted to fight. Erislandy Lara brought up Errol Spence. Now, I think that's an interesting fight. I like the sound of that. I like that he called out Errol Spence, and I like the fact that somebody like Errol Spence, he has choices right now. He's a big welterweight, but he has guys from 147 he could fight to 154, and I like that. It's definitely a fight I would like to see Errol Spence in as maybe like a first fight at 154, because it's a name. It's a veteran, and it's also a skillful veteran. It's somebody that a lot of people feel like he could still give Errol Spence trouble just because, he's a very, very highly, skill-based fighter that a lot of people think he could outbox, just because, the fact that he did outbox Canelo. He used pure skill to beat Canelo. Still a fight I feel like he did beat Canelo. I don't care what anybody says, but looking at a guy like Errol Spence, this would be a real, real good test for him, if Erislandy Lara comes to really bring it. And yeah, man, I would just like to see that fight, actually. If Errol can't get like a fight with Terrence Crawford, or he can't get a fight, with some of the other big names and, completely unify the welterweight division, then yeah, I could see him moving up to 154 to take on somebody like Erislandy Lara. And in that fight, I do favor Errol Spence, not by much, but I favor Errol Spence to be able to pull out that fight, because Errol Spence, people just don't understand that, he's a fighter with a high IQ too. He hasn't had to use it because he hasn't had to use it to his full extent, just because, he does have respectful power. He does have that power that keeps guys, on their back foot, and, he can usually break somebody down. Whereas Erislandy Lara, he boxes so much on the outside and doesn't really sit on his punches in every single fight. You know, a lot of guys like to crowd him and press him back. So, you know, he's mostly fighting off his skill because, you know, he's a Cuban-based fighter. You know, that's how they do. But yeah, man, if that fight would take place like sometime in 2020, I would definitely like it. I would definitely watch it. You know, depending on how, you know, the welterweight cards play out for Errol Spence. But until then, you know, Errol's got his hands full with Sean Porter, and from there we're gonna see who else he fights, man. But from here, Erislandy Lara, I like to see him take another step up, man. I like to see him fight. Y'all let me know in the comment section. I'm not really looking at the division right now. I can't really say who I like to see him fight, but I like to see him fight somebody like Jaime Munguia just to see where he's at. Actually, you know, for me, I'd like to see somebody like that in there with Lara just to really test, you know, if he's got it again, you know. But yeah, man, that's all I got on this one, guys. Just make sure y'all subscribe. Yeah, again, in the comment section, let me know who you want to see Lara fight from here. What's Ramon Alvarez do? I think he should retire from here. But yeah, man, that's all I got on this one, guys. Combo Breaker 99. Make sure y'all subscribe. I'm out.